I would be honored to work for Michelle Obama. Obviously, the energy and the momentum, her priorities, she really impresses me and inspires me. So Michelle Obama.
I think Golda Meir, because she was really she was so much before her time in political leadership and in creating a nation.
That is a really difficult question, but after giving it some thought, I would probably say Constance Baker Motley. Constance Baker Motley was one of the few female attorneys who worked for the NAACP Legal Defense Fund. She was intimately involved in the Civil Rights Movement, in the Brown versus Board of Education case, and in numerous other cases that went to the Supreme Court. And she was one of the first African-American females to be appointed to the federal bench out of New York. I think she is truly a role model for women, black, white, regardless of race. She's truly a pioneer, and that's someone that I would love to have had an opportunity to clerk for.
I have to say, it's my mother. She went to graduate school at 50. She's always encouraged me to be my own, love yourself. No one's going to love you like you do. So that's something that's always kind of given me a lot of strength. So she inspires me constantly. She's also a therapist, so I'm a therapist's daughter, which is always, I thought, something that was a little bit unique to me.
I think my biggest female role model was probably my mom, who died of ovarian cancer about 6 years ago. And my mom had a totally different life than I had. She worked in the home. She didn't work outside of the home. And but she was the kind of person, had the kind of heart and the kind of soul that I always wanted to aspire to have.
I know this is going to be a constant refrain, but definitely my mother, as well as other strong women in my family. My mother came from very, very, very poor beginnings, grew up in Covington, very poor. Her parents did not have formal education. She attended Dillard University, graduated with honors. She was a phenomenal English teacher for almost 30 years in the public school system, shaped numerous students' lives. In fact, I still bump into many of her former students when they recognize the name, and they tell me what a great influence she was on them while she was their teacher, and she's obviously been a huge influence on me as my mother. So my mother certainly is at the top of that list.
I think there's a comfort level there with the interaction that men have had amongst themselves, and women have an opportunity to also join in that conversation. I just think there's a lot of things taken for granted that we kind of have to remind them that, hey, we have something to say, and it adds a lot of value.
I think much less so than in the time that I was probably coming up in my career, and really the glass ceiling was much more an aspect of rising to the top in my business field.
I think that women have made a number of inroads in evening the playing field and knocking down what's been traditionally known as the glass ceiling, but based on the fact that men still predominate as being CEOs, CFOs, COOs of a number of major corporations, there probably still is some bias toward men, but I think that those walls are continuing to come down.
Sandra Bullock. She's a New Orleans girl. She has a lot of spirit, and I think that she could definitely take care of business.
Probably Katie Holmes, because she's really cute and has the hairstyle that I aspire to have.
Would you like to be married to Tom Cruise, though?
No. I'm very happy married to the man that I'm married to.
That is a really difficult question. Probably Not based on looks, but I admire her as an actress. I first saw her on Broadway many years ago when I started college, Cheryl Lee Ralph. She's talented, she's smart, she's a community activist. She's done a lot of work in recent years to address the issue of HIV/AIDS in the African American community. And she's just someone I've always admired and always thought was extremely talented when I first saw her perform in Dream Girls almost 30 years ago.